Just going for a little walk through town. Going after you, sir. Watch this one. It's a bit something. Just going for a little wander. Oh my god. You don't get this in fucking Hackney, do you? Alright fellas, how's it all going? Hello. Oh man. We just take that for granted there, don't we? Look at this fella, he's having some eucalyptus. Right, boss? Alright then, well this is a bit new, but as I'm going to be multitasking today, this is this week's Sunday sermon. Now, one of the things we find ourselves in this situation, where we have been indoctrinated and conditioned pretty much all of our lives to seek for external authority, and with that comes an element of safety, you know, and also packaged into that is that we're looking for external validation for perhaps an opinion that we've got has been internalized, and we get an opportunity to have that confirmed by an external source. And I feel that's one of the reasons, like if you take for example, look at our look at the way our hospitals are, medicine, doctors. Like we've grown up to see them. My dad said it to me the other day. We've grown up to see them as God. Not so much in this generation, but definitely the older generations. It was like whatever they said was exact, and we had to follow it. And straight away, like that's giving up our connection, our deep, knowledgeable synergy with our bodies, and we're handing it over to an external source who supposedly knows better than us because they've studied a very, very narrow width of information from compromised funded studies. But we still believe that. And even now, like whoever you are, like a doctor saying that there's something wrong with you, diagnosing you with something, can be quite a powerful and very obstructive component in our own healing. And that's just like doctors, right? That's just how we're born into the world, is that our birth is robbed from us. And then we go into the schooling system. I just had lunch with a lovely fellow called Ray. Beautiful man. And he sent me a quote this morning, or he sent it on a group that we're in. And it was from Sir Kenneth Robinson, I believe, who had this wonderful quote that said that everyone is born creative and it is educated out of them. And I just found that so compelling for where we are in the world and what's going on. And if we look at those education systems and how many of us were forced into them, excuse me, just get my hair out my eyes, it's a bit warm today. These education systems, very much that we were going there to be told what to think, you know, or even when it comes to working out problems, that there's a paradigm with which our creative thinking is held within. You know, this is sort of the curriculum, the general steer of this information, and we're going to stay within these guidelines. And if we can't answer something, then we've got an external source in the form of a teacher to explain that to us. And those very often that do well in the education system are the ones that go along with it. I didn't do very well in the education system, as you might have grasped. And I feel that what that happens to us, and of course, again, like even furthermore, that happens in our hobbies as well, right? You go into sports. I played a lot of football, a lot of boxing. Don't really play boxing, though, to be honest. And you are really kept within a certain field that you've got to answer to. You know, this is how you do it. This is what we're going to teach you. And very often you find that your natural creative ability in those situations is robbed, and it can very, very often lead to conformity. We also have that situation happen in our social groups as well, you know, with our friends, is that we, through peer pressure, we all dress the same, we all look the same, you know, we all wear the same clothes. I remember me and my mates when we were 19, 20, you know, we all had skinheads, we all wore Stone Island, we all had Gucci or Patrick Cox loafers. You couldn't pick us out in a lineup with each other, which is quite handy sometimes. And then we go into our occupations, into our careers, and very often there's a strict guideline of how we're supposed to be received in that industry, right, in that environment. Just wait for that van to go past. Oof, it's a big cloud of dust. Yeah. We then end up answering to a boss. We've got political parties that we believe are able to steer our reality better than ours. We've got celebrities that we look up to, rock stars that we adore. And I think whether we can really understand it or not, you can see that there's an incredible influence on an external authority, external adoration. And I truly believe that is what creates this saviour complex. And you could also bring religion into that as well, right? It's because I've literally just had a chat with my mate. I just left him up the road. I just literally had a chat with him about it. You know, we were talking about religion. And I said, the thing for me is I don't think I need a middleman for God. You know, I really don't feel like I need a middleman. I feel I don't need a book to tell me how to connect to God. I don't need a prayer to connect me to God. I don't need a building or a temple. I don't need anything of that sort. How you doing, brother? Good. I'm just in the middle of recording a video. Okay. How you doing? You all right? Yeah? Super. This is my mate Leo. Say hello, Leo. Hola. Nice to see you, brother. I'll catch you soon. Much love. And I knew I was going to see him. I'm on his road, you see. So very often in religion that happens as well, right? Is that we're looking outside of ourselves to something that is more connected to God than us. The middleman, whether it's the preacher, whether it's the mullah, whether it's the priest, the vicar, you know, whoever it is. It's a fucking rush hour down here today. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. And this is a funny Sunday sermon, isn't it? It's not very informal. I like this format. We should keep with this. Just Danny off on a little walk for a Sunday sermon, just having a little march. I'm trying to find the mount. And through religion, we're often then looking to an external authority to tell us how we can get closer to God. And yet God is part of our factory setting, right? It's our innateness. It's our inheritance. You know, it's us. It's what's inherent in us. And so all of this stuff, once you put it all together, you can see why. Look, and another thing as well, because I'm a big film buff, as many of you know, not so much anymore, but I was. all of the narrative in film is about heroes, right? Hero coming to save the day. And we attach that story and that narrative to some well-oiled, well-muscled hero. It's not us. And I believe all of these factors go into this sort of overriding hypnosis or illusion that someone needs to come and save us. Something outside of ourselves is going to save us, you know? And so then, sorry, it's quite sweaty walking down here. So then, a lot of the time, when we're confronted with an issue in our world, that old programming kicks in. And if you look around you, like a lot of the world is falling for it, right? Like, okay, let me rephrase that. A lot of the world that is supposedly woken up to what it is in our world, pulling the strings, you could feel that like there is a massive emphasis on steering those people, steering them towards a selected, controlled, scripted theatre actor, yeah? Like Donald Trump springs to mind, for one, all right? You've got sort of like Donald Trump. You've got Donald Trump. You've got Tommy Robinson in the UK, or Stephen Yaxley, or whatever his fucking name is. You've got them throughout, right? You know, there is always someone out there that is saying the things that you might agree with because they know what issues there are in the world. They know what we're passionate about. They hear us talking about it through these things, through the documentation of social media. And I believe they deliver that back to us through these characters, through these scripts. And so many people are then pulled into this really dangerous game of trying to see one of these people as being the saviour of the problems in their reality, in our reality. And I feel that's why many people are in that situation, looking for an external saviour. And I feel like one of the reasons of that is because, and I'm going to say it again, drum roll everyone, is self-worth, isn't it? It's self-love. When you truly arrive home to yourself, yeah, when you're truly able to come home to what we really are, and how much power we've really got, when that power is able to integrate into you, when you're allowing that to sit in who you are and sink in to that power, you realise that it's you. It's fucking you, mate. It's you all along. And that at first, I feel for many people, that can be very confronting again, in a different way. It can be, there's a lot of despair I see in people, just going, oh, look, you know, what me, I've got to fix the world's problems. Little old me, I can't do anything about what's going on in the world. And that really, using all of the sophisticated methods that I've just spoken about, that's how they've created that story in our heads, isn't it? That little old me, I can't do anything about it. I just, you know, what's the point in trying? I can't do nothing. And that is probably, that's up there with it's probably the biggest psyop for me, personally, is how they've disempowered people. Sorry if it's a bit windy, my fucking wig's nearly blown off. If you can hear me all right. But that's very often a psyop that has been following us around since we were little. Like, how could I do anything about it? You know, little old me, I can't change the world. And so then we look to people who we think we can change the world. When fundamentally, we're all capable. We've all got the ability, we've all got the potential, and much of the time it's been suppressed in us. It's been inverted for us to look outside of ourselves for people that are more capable to make change than us. And it's all a load of bollocks. Because like, there doesn't need to be some big fucking Hollywood script on how the world changes. The world changes just day by day, person to person, being to being. It's just about us being kinder, being more loving, being less judgmental, being less critical, and to ourselves as well, right? If we do that, if we start to feel good about ourselves, 9 times out of 10 we feel good about the world, and that shines through us. So I could almost go as far to say that that's the real revolution right there, is that us having the fresh perspective, for us to have the fresh perspective, that all of a sudden we get to this point and we just go like, yes mate, it's fucking me. It's me. And I ain't got to go and build a castle. I haven't got to go and build an army. There's like no massive, incredible story and performance that I've got to put on. Just got to be me. I've just got to uncover the real me. And then what I will uncover in that is a God-given empathy, a God-given kindness and compassion. And that's what changes the world. You know? And I know it's difficult, right? Because many people find that hard to be able to see themselves as someone who is worthy of that incredibly important role in our world. But like I say, we're all doing it in our own little way. You know, there's so many different ways that we can turn up in our world, and still we're answering the collective calling, which is to make this world a happier, better, kinder, more compassionate, fairer, more equal space. And it might terrify you to find out that it is you. I'm really excited by it now, which I think is like the next phase. I had my time a few years ago about going, oh fuck, I've got to sort this mess out. And now I realise that it's an incredibly exciting quest. And each day it brings another level of depth and meaning and purpose. And then what happens then is that you start to gravitate and magnetise towards people who are doing the same. And that's a real, like an army of love being created, which is formidable. So my walk's nearly over. It's been nice, hasn't it? Just walking along, having a chat, seeing Leo as well. Leo's going to feature. And yeah, what I would say is just sit with it, you know, sit with that feeling that you are here, right on time. There's no fucking coincidences, all right? Let's forget about coincidence. It doesn't exist. There's no accidents. You're exactly where you are supposed to be. And the more you start to really, really believe that on a cellular level, wow, that's when all of that dormant power, all of that suppressed and oppressed potential comes to the surface. And then we can do fucking anything. So, lastly, if you're not doing anything tonight, come and join our MYGA space at 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. Central European time. It's going to be a very, very invaluable space this evening because we're discussing the dangers of EMF and how we can take steps, quite practical, easy steps. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Take practical steps into making our homes safer, to making our lives less toxic, just to see how quite dangerous and even predatory EMF has become now. That's electromagnetic fields or frequencies. And yeah, it'd be an interesting one. So come along to MYGA tonight if you can. If not, you can watch the replay on YouTube, and we'll put that out probably in a week or so. Last but not least, because I'm always told to remind people this because I forget, and it's a little bit uneasy for me, you know, like I want to do everything. Well, I do everything just from my heart, just from my love of the world and from my love of mankind. But we are a donations-based organisation, so if you do have the facility to be able to make a donation because you're joining our calls or joining Sunday sermon and you get value from it, then the reciprocation of that value would be always well received. Until next time, maybe see you tonight on MYGA. Much love. Ta-da.